Hello, everyone. We are here live with Galley of the Sun, talking about all things YouTube and food channels. So welcome, Michael. How are you tonight?
Oh, fantastic. Just got done filming an episode and now time to relax.
That's right. Yes. Always go, go, go for the YouTuber, huh?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. So tell me about your channel and why you started your channel.
Well, Greg and I have both been cooking stuff for years, and we did what everybody else did, posted the results on Facebook. And we kept getting the same answer over and over again. Well, first of all, you need to start your own restaurant. Now, before I joined the Navy, I worked in restaurants, and I know I don't want to start my own restaurant. That takes all the fun out of it. But they also said you need to have a YouTube channel. So finally, we broke down and said, okay, well, let's give it a shot. And we've really enjoyed it. And yeah, we put out over 160, 170 episodes so far.
It's really fun, isn't it?
It is. It is. It's a lot of work,
Yeah.
but it's a great hobby.
So tell me about the other people that are on your channel.
Okay, so basically here at the Oasis, that's what we call the house here in Peoria in the Valley of the Sun. Two couples live together. That is Greg and Charlotte, and myself and Tammy, who I always refer to as the director in the videos. And that's because for a while she filled in as a director of nursing. Not that she directs the videos, but so it sort of stuck, so we use that on her. All four of us can cook. Tammy doesn't want to do videos at all, but Charlotte has done a few videos, most of them dealing with ice cream, and they're our most popular videos. And then Greg is big in the barbecuing, so most of his episodes have been on that. Myself, I don't like to do the same thing twice. So mine are all sorts of, either Indian cooking or Middle Eastern cooking or Latin cooking, Peruvian, Mexican, whatever. So I'm always looking for something different to cook.
That's what I was going to say. It looks like you like to do a lot of different, you like to try a lot of different foods.
Oh, absolutely. So
Yeah.
I think that's from, I grew up in Kansas in the 70s and 80s. And one, there wasn't the food availability that there is now. And there certainly wasn't the internet. So besides getting, exotic cookbooks, you really didn't get that different cultures and stuff like that. So I was fed very well and I was very happy. But it was a very, I don't want to say bland, but typical Midwestern diet. All my steaks were sirloin. You would have spaghetti once a week. You'd have tacos once a week. Wasn't very exciting. So I got my first job when I was 14 at a crazy, crazy story. So a little town south of Wichita at the time had about 6,000 population, Mulvane, Kansas. Typical Midwestern Main Street. Well, this couple came to town and they bought one of the stores there. They turned it into a restaurant. And they hired me as a dishwasher at 14. They were both alcoholics. They lived in the restaurant, but it was a 12-course restaurant.
Wow.
It wouldn't be uncommon to look in the main street and see a DeLorean, a Rolls Royce. People would fly in from St. Louis and Denver to eat at this place. And so the food there was absolutely amazing. So it was a big eye opener to me about how diverse and great food could be. So I think that is what first triggered me. And hey, wait a second, mom and dad are feeding me well. They're doing fine. However, there's a world of food out there that I don't know about.
Yeah,
and then after that, I joined the Navy, moving around to Florida and Georgia and South Carolina. And then the people that I served with, that was the beautiful thing about being in the service. Maybe you're serving with a Jewish person from New York. You learn about their culture and their food. Somebody from the deep South, somebody from the Northeast, and just learning all those different things made me want to explore more and more.
Yeah. Yes. I I kind of had the same experience where, just well, not the cooking thing or not working in the
Mhm.
restaurant thing, but my dad had a trucking company, and we used to go all over the Southwest, and
Mhm.
and being able to go to New Mexico and get Mexican food in New Mexico, it's a totally different experience than in Arizona. Totally different. And
Mhm.
I love that. And then when I was 17, I lived in Spain for a year, and learning all of that different food, and just how different little combinations of spices can make such a difference,
Mhm.
and just wonderful. It really is so vast and amazing, isn't it?
It is. It is. And how it came about too. I've cooked some Middle Eastern food and love it. Love the cinnamon in there and the cloves and everything. And then I ran across the tacos Arabas. So in the 1930s, a bunch of immigrants from the Middle East came to the Puebla area of Mexico, and they brought with them their cooking styles and cooking shawarma and stuff like that. And then they looked around and saw what the Mexicans were doing, and they came up with Taco Arabas, which was the predecessor to Tacos al Pastor. So we wouldn't even have Tacos al Pastor, which we think that's definitely a Mexican dish, had it not been for these Arab immigrants to Mexico. And yeah, I find that stuff absolutely amazing.
Interesting. Very cool. Let's see who's on our chat here. We've got Cooking with Squirrel. Hello.
Howdy, squirrel.
And had my first collard greens on a ship. I have a tree collard growing in my front yard. Have you ever seen one of those?
I don't think I have.
So they're not, I guess they're different from collard greens. It's actually like, it's probably about 8 foot tall right now. And
Hmm.
it's got these big leaves that you can just tear off a leaf and shred it up or cook it. I've done one short where I made it a burrito out of this leaf. and
Uh-huh.
they're really good. They're very tasty. It's really super easy to grow. So it's collard tree.
Interesting.
Yeah. So tell me, what is the mission for your channel?
Well, so another reason that we got into it, because the cooking is one of my passions. In the Navy, I found out that leading and teaching was another one of my passions. So this sort of puts them both together. And then again, back to the Navy days, so many of the single sailors spending all that money on fast food and eating out all the time. And I tell them all the time, you can eat much better and much cheaper if you just learn to cook yourself. Well, I
Yeah.
don't know how. Well, there's YouTube. Watch YouTube and you'll learn. And heck, I've taught a lot of my methods I got from YouTube channels. So I think putting those together, um, you know, I get more satisfaction out of the people that try the dish and say, "Oh, wow, that's fantastic," than eating it myself. So mixing those together is what we're trying to do. Trying to inspire people to get out of their comfort zone, try some different things. Maybe if you don't like one Indian dish, well, there's thousands of different Indian dishes. There's probably one out there you do like. So
Yeah.
that's what we're looking for.
Let's see. Cooking with Squirrel says, what rate were you, Michael?
I was a nuke machinist mate. I served 30 years and 5 months because 30 years is for quitters. So, yeah.
You were a machinist?
A machinist mate, yep, on submarines. So we dealt with the pumps and heat exchangers and air conditioning for the nuclear propulsion plant.
Wow. We went through the Maritime Museum in San Diego.
Hmm.
That was so cool to be able to go onto those submarines. I
Yeah,
don't know.
those are a world of difference than what they are now. On my first submarine, I had the honor of they had brought a bunch of World War II submariners on board, and that was 80. No, that was 91. So they weren't too terribly old at that point. So we could get them down to the submarine and everything, and listen to their stories and seeing their amazement on how different they are now from those ones you see in those museums. So yeah.
one that they had there that has the little round opening that you have to like grab onto the bar and swing your feet through.
You still got to do that in the big ones. Just the hole's bigger.
Well, that's good.
The whole submarine's bigger. So
So I wouldn't be moving very fast through through that
no,
thing.
you learn not to do that. Submarines are made of metal. So yeah.
Yeah. So okay, squirrels. Okay, he was okay. What was the do you remember what the first thing that was that you cooked that made you want to get into more cooking and stuff? Do you remember that first dish that you made?
I know definitely the interest was piqued in that 12-course restaurant, La Normandie in Mulvane, Kansas. It's not there anymore. Um, but then I got hired on. I moved to a different town, turned 16, so now I could get hired by a corporation, and I ended up working at Golden Corral. And started out as a dishwasher, then went to a fry cook. It was shortly after I went there, I discovered the wonders of ribeye. I don't know why my parents never ever gave. Well, it was probably expensive, is the reason. But yeah, as soon as I found ribeye, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to learn how to cook this at home and everywhere. And so it'd probably be a ribeye steak, as
Cool.
simple as that is.
And so do you think you're pretty good at ribeyes now?
Oh, definitely. So we're meat snobs now. If you've seen all the episodes, we have a steak ager, which looks just like a wine refrigerator, except temperature humidity controlled. You can dry age steaks in it. So it'll take two ribeye roasts. Takes about depends what you do. If you just put the ribeye roast in there, it takes about 28 days, and you have the most incredible dry age steak that you would pay 60, $70 in a restaurant for easy. Or
Nice.
you can take that and take a bunch of terry cloth, soak it in bourbon, wrap that around the ribeye roast, and then let that sit in there. You want that to go for about 45 days, and then you have a whiskey aged ribeye. And
Wow.
yeah,
So what's the worst thing that you can do to a ribeye? What's the one thing that people should never do?
cook it any further than medium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Does it just
stay
get
with medium or medium rare. That the red juices that run out of the steak for a medium or medium rare is not blood. Those are juices. It is not blood. It is fully cooked. So that it loses so much flavor after it gets past medium. It's like you're eating a different thing.
so my coworker was a meat manager for years, and he says to that he uses a thermometer for everything, everything, everything. Is that kind of how you cook as well?
For a while, and then you learn how many minutes, how many seconds it takes, what it looks like when it's medium rare.
Hmm.
So
Cool.
yeah, and it definitely for starting, you definitely want to use the thermometer until you have the touch for it.
Okay. So Dorothy says hello. Hi, Dorothy. Thanks for
Or
joining us here. And let's see, we've got another one from Cooking with Squirrel. Highly impressed with the 30 years and 5 months, and highly impressed with the submarines in general. I'm too big for a normal ship, let alone a submarine. You know, we went on to the Midway also, and yeah, it's you got to be very friendly with some of those people on board. Huh?
that's very
You'll learn how
true.
to live in close quarters. Medium is perfect for ribeye. It's one of the few steaks I prefer above medium rare. Hmm, cool.
Fair enough, but nothing
And
over medium.
it needs more render due to fat content. So ribeye has more fat content.
Oh yes, yeah, definitely. There's definitely more marbling in a ribeye.
Hmm.
Fat is where the flavor is.
Okay. I haven't gotten to where I know like specifically cuts of meat, besides like a brisket.
Uh-huh.
One of my favorites.
And briskets are fantastic because of the marbling. So
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, cool. My my dad was a welder and a machinist, and also really good at barbecue. And I think that all of those skills combined to make them all work well together.
uh,
So what's something that you don't like to cook?
I absolutely hate peas, but it's one of the few things that I don't like. Peas, liver, not big fans of those. I have yet to have octopus cooked correctly. I've had it cooked both Greek style and Italian style. Didn't like either one of those. It was the texture thing.
Hmm.
Um, Lima beans, and then that's about it. I will eat most anything else. I love the things that people typically don't like: spinach, Brussels sprouts, broccoli. Absolutely love it.
I'm about to make a recipe with peas, but it's got bacon in it. Would that change your mind?
No,
No.
fried rice. I pick the peas out of fried rice.
Oh,
I do not touch ever a pot pie because pot pie is French for place to hide freaking peas. So yeah, I don't do it.
yeah, that my husband feels like that passionately too. He doesn't hate he hates
Why is
bananas.
that?
He won't eat anything with bananas in it. So yeah, I understand. Cooking with squirrel briskets also have a ton of beefy flavor, which is why they are often part of a good burger blend. Oh yeah, yeah, I have had that as well. Yes, and they
Absolutely.
used to throw away the briskets. That used to be like the disposable part of stuff. I'm so glad that they found out how tasty they are.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we definitely use brisket. We make our own aged ground beef too. I talk about it every episode that I cook anything with the ground beef. So after you age that ribeye steak, it builds up a hard surface on the outside of the steak that you definitely don't want to eat with your steak. It's very chewy, it's very tough. Well, we save all that. It's called the pellicile. We save all that, we'll soak it in beef broth, and then we will grind it up. And then we go about half chuck and half brisket. And then it's a 4-to-1 ratio. So four parts chuck and brisket to one part of the pellicile, and it gets that umami flavor of the aged beef into that ground beef. And again, we're beef snobs, so we can't. If we just go to the store and get ground beef, and it doesn't matter if it's prime or 80/20 or whatever, it just doesn't touch that aged ground beef that we make. And we're very happy about it too, because that ribeye roast that you're getting costs anywhere between 9 to 12 to 15, depending on the prices at the time, dollars a pound. So we figured out how to use every bit of that aged ribeye.
Nice. That sounds really interesting. So are there restaurants around that serve anything like what you're cooking?
Yeah, there definitely are. The one that comes to mind is Gallagher's in New York, New York, up at Las Vegas. I'm sure there's other places around here that serve aged ribeye, but because we have an ager at home, we no longer search out restaurants that serve aged beef because that's to us beef. Well, that's what we eat all the time.
Interesting. It would be really interesting to try that whole combination that you're talking about and see if I can
Mhm.
like pick out those flavors. Cool. So is there something that you have that that you didn't want to try that you went ahead and made and then you really liked it?
Hmm. That I didn't want to try. There are many things out there that I don't want to try. I gave you that short list there. So, yeah, that's a hard one. I don't think so. Been happy with everything that came out.
My mom says that my dad did not want to ever try artichoke, that he was against artichokes, and then he finally tried it and he loved it.
So you triggered a memory. So before living down here, we've been living in Arizona since 2020. Before that, we spent 14 years up in the Pacific Northwest, just to the west of Seattle, on the Kitsap Peninsula. And so growing up, back to my bland Midwest diet, every once in a while, mom would make salmon patties. She'd get the cans of the salmon patties and make them, and oh my God, I did not like those at all. So I'm up there in the Pacific Northwest. I resisted trying salmon for a long time because I had those salmon patties in my head. When I finally did get some salmon and do it on the grill and several different types of glazes, marinades, oh, it's incredible. I absolutely love it. So there's something.
Yeah, it's not like the cat food version.
No, oh,
It's
that stuff is
yeah, real
horrible.
salmon, especially when you're right there getting it right, out of the Pacific Northwest. All that up there is so great. Lots of different kinds of fishes up there that are really good. Okay, let's see. Cooking with Squirrel says decent grocers and real butcher shops sell aged beef.
That is true. So
Yes.
before we got the ager, we would go and buy those for $25 a pound. Was what we were paying for aged ribeyes.
Wow. He says butcher shops should also have aged beef trimmings and ground beef. And
Yep.
we do have a butcher shop. Actually, um, they grow the beef and everything, whole process right there, like within a mile of their shop. And
Mhm.
um, so I'll have to try that sometime and check with them. I've got just regular ground beef from them, and a couple steaks that were really good. So I'll have to try to make that combination and see what it's like.
It is definitely worth it.
So is there something that you've never cooked before that you would like to try to cook?
Well, I would have said a few weeks ago, goat, but we had some friends that had a goat slaughtered, and they asked me to figure out a way to cook it. So I started doing some research. I had made Baria tacos before. I made them with short ribs, and they came out very good. So I did a little bit of research, and actually, Baria tacos originally were goat. So when Cortez came over, the Spaniards brought a bunch of goats when they invaded Mexico, basically. And the Spaniards didn't like goat, it was tough. So they just gave them to the Mexicans when they were done using them. And the Mexicans go, I've got something for this. And birria was invented. And yeah, that was probably some of the best tacos I've ever had, let alone made.
And what spices did you put in that?
So we did two different recipes. That time I didn't come up with my own recipe. I went straight with Chef Tom from All Things Barbecue, the sauce. And they both had basically the same thing. They had dried peppers in them. They definitely had garlic in them, cumin, oregano. But Chef Tom's also had cinnamon in there. It had cloves in there. There was another exotic spice that was in there that you wouldn't normally think for Mexican food. Anyway, so I did them both Chef Tom's way and then Sam the Cooking Guy's way. And I had done that before on roast beef, and Sam the Cooking Guy had won that one. Definitely, Chef Tom took this one on the Baria tacos.
Hmm.
So they were absolutely amazing.
Interesting. I don't know that I've ever had that, and but I was talking to my coworker about that a couple of days ago, and he and his wife made that the Baria tacos,
Hmm.
and they said it was really really good.
Yeah, it's like a French dip taco because you end up with this consomme that
Yeah.
you put in a bowl, and then you have your taco, and the tortilla is dipped in that consomme and then fried. So they're also called red tacos because all those dried chilies is going to turn that tortilla red. And yeah, then you take your taco and you dip it in that incredible sauce. Oh, it's amazing.
Sounds really good. Sounds really good right now. Have you had mole?
I have, but I haven't made that yet. So there's one thing that I need to get to.
I've never tried to make it either. It's I'm interested in it, but I want like the whole dish around it, to see exactly. I haven't decided what exactly I want to cook the mole for.
I
So,
have to do a lot of research on that one too because it's such a wide variety.
mhm.
There was a YouTube channel, Maple Cook. He made some mole, and I bet he used 50 different ingredients, easy. And I'm not exaggerating. It was all over his kitchen. And then I've seen it made with 10 or 12. So typically, when I tackle something like that I've never tried before, I will watch 10, 15 different videos and then pick different elements out of each one of them that
Yeah,
goes, okay, yep, I can do that. I know where I can find that. I know how to do that. Put it all together and sort of make it my own.
cool. That's a really good way to do it. Okay, Grubby the Beagle. Hello there.
We have a lot of animals watching us today.
What's that?
We have a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
animals watching us
me
today.
too.
Squirrels and beagles and okay.
Hello, thank you for being here and cooking with Dorothy. And yeah, thanks for joining us. Rick Martinez has some good approachable mole recipes.
Hmm.
Cool. Yeah, it's such a unique blend. We don't think typically. I don't know where that's used in other meat recipes. Do you know is there another like
What as far as the chocolate element?
yeah.
Oh, Cincinnati Skyline chili. Have that episode too. If you have not tried Skyline chili, you are missing out. Now, is it really chili? No. More stories. So that was from Greek immigrants coming to the Cincinnati area and opening up restaurants. And really, that is it's more of a pasta sauce really than a chili, and that's the number one way that it's served over spaghetti. So spaghetti and then your Cincinnati Skyline chili on top of it is two-way, and then if you add cheese to it, it's called three-way, and then four-way can have either beans or onions added to that, and then five-way is all of them together. So definitely delicious, and different than chili, but it's called Skyline chili. So very good stuff. And there's chocolate in it. There's cinnamon in it. A very, very unique flavor.
I'm really gonna have to look that up. That sounds really, really interesting. And then, what would you serve that with, as far as like a side dish or a vegetable or whatever?
Oh, so I did definitely garlic bread.
Garlic
So
bread.
yeah.
Cooking with Squirrel says French food, chocolate, and red wine reduction sauce.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. That's my husband. Making him hungry.
Fantastic.
Hello, Jeff. How are you?
We will not be discussing cooking peas today, so you should appreciate that.
So in the Phoenix Peoria area, is there a restaurant that you guys like to go to just for casual dining?
Well, we try and mix it up. So every Friday, all four of us go out to a different place every time. My pick is always going to be something from that's been on diners, drive-ins, and dives. So I know before the pandemic, there were at least 30 restaurants in the Phoenix metro area that had been on Triple D. I know we lost some of them during the pandemic, but
Mhm.
still, plenty to choose from. And I have never been let down by using that method. I use the same method whenever I go to a different city too. First thing I look up.
That's exactly what I do too. That's funny. And I don't remember if they were on that particular show, but they were on another show on Food Network. There's a chicken and waffle place that's downtown Phoenix that's a lot of NBA players go to.
Yeah, I've
Have
heard
you been
about
to that?
that. And I think
And
that's a triple D. The last one we ate at Burger Place, I can't remember the name of it. Definitely a dive, a little hole in the wall. But both Man versus Food and Triple D have been there.
oh wow, cool. Yeah, and there was another big one there in downtown Phoenix that's kind of like an old warehouse mall kind of a thing. Have you been to that one?
No.
That one sounded really interesting as well. But yeah, I'd love to try all of them. That
Oh,
they
absolutely.
all look so good. So what about fast food? Do you have a favorite fast food?
Myself, I absolutely love In-N-Out.
Yeah.
In-N-Out's probably my favorite. Also love Freddy's, which was originated out of Wichita, Kansas, like I did. So
Oh, really? It's out from
Freddy's is another
Wichita?
one. Yeah. Freddy's Pizza Hut originated in Wichita. White Castle also.
Mhm.
So
So have you tried Culver's?
yes, I have. I've ate there once.
How do you it seems a lot like Freddy's to me. Any
I
thoughts on
you
that?
know, maybe I've had it once, so I want to be fair. I didn't put them in my top five. Uh,
Okay.
Definitely In-N-Out, and then Freddy's, and then Five Guys, and then I would go with Smash Burger and Whataburger would be my top five.
Really? Smash Burger is that far down on the list, huh? I thought that was like a really never
To
been there
me,
myself, so
everybody's got their different tastes.
yeah.
Um,
I always hear it hyped up, so
mm. Now,
and
if it was on shakes alone, they'd be number one. They have the best shakes out of everybody,
hmm.
and their tater tots are very good. They have the Parmesan tater tots and rosemary tater tots. Yep, those are very good too.
Well, Culver's, they offer a gluten-free bun, and so they don't cook it for you because they would cross contaminate, but
Mhm.
they'll give you the burger and then a bun in a bag that's warmed up, and then you can make the sandwich yourself, which is a really nice benefit to a lot of
Mhm.
people. That I hope that some of these other restaurants will start doing that as well, because it's so limited. Fast food is so limited if you're gluten free. It's really hard to find something, and even times the fries are cooked with the other food that's breaded stuff, and so you can't
Yeah.
necessarily even have the fries if you're trying to be really strict gluten free.
All right. Charlotte wants to break in. She has
Okay.
something to say, apparently.
Yeah, come on in.
Hey, so
Here, I'll move so
can't
you can
see
be on
me.
the camera.
So you're gluten free, and
Yes.
you failed to mention that the Cincinnati chili, the Skyline chili, is completely gluten free, and you can use like gluten free noodles or zoodles.
Cool. Okay.
So
Let's give that a
there's a
try.
friend that's got like a celiac. And
My
they make
husband,
it all the
yeah,
time.
my husband is gluten free, and we have had some really good luck with the new gluten free noodles that have come out. So yeah, we'll have to try that sauce.
So just saying that it's really really good that way with the onions and all that stuff.
Cool. Thank you.
Think about that because I'm the one that does a lot of the gluten free stuff for my friends.
Yep.
Good. Good. Yeah, we'll have to. I want to do like a recipe swap where like you guys give me a recipe and I cook it, and I give you a recipe and you cook it, and see how that turns out. So maybe I'll get that organized. I want to do it with a few different channels.
That sounds great.
Cooking with Squirrel says Bojangles is my number one for all day breakfast biscuits. Yum. That sounds good. Is that biscuits and gravy or just biscuits and whatever?
Love the biscuits gravy.
Yes. Yeah. There was somebody here in town that was going to open like a little food truck at one point where they made biscuits and then made all different kinds of things with those biscuits. So I'm wondering if that's the kind of thing that Cooking with Squirrel, is that the kind of thing that you're talking about? Do they make a lot of different kinds of food out of biscuits or sandwiches out of biscuits? So breakfast, he says, breakfast biscuits like country ham, eggs, and cheese. Yum. Yes. Oh, that sounds very good right now. So what is like the number one food from Kansas then?
From Kansas. Well, definitely, they do a lot of barbecue there.
Mhm.
Kansas City, no matter what everyone else says, Kansas City is the barbecue capital of the world. Another unique Midwest thing, a lot of it's done in Kansas, beer rocks, or they're called runzas up in
Oh yes.
Nebraska. So
Yeah.
came over from, oh, now I can't remember what the name of the people are, but they were Germans. They followed a German queen who became queen in Russia. I do this perfect on my video, of course, but they followed her to Russia. She allowed them to have land in Russia, and they could keep their customs and everything. The Volga Germans. I believe that's the ones I'm looking for. Well, anyway, she passed away. The Russians decided to kick out the Germans that spoke German in Russia, and they came to the Midwest, and that's how we got our beer rocks. So yeah, absolutely delicious.
So I can't understand what you're saying. Is it burrocks?
Bierocks. Bierocks. I believe
Bierocks.
it's Bierocks. Bierocks.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever heard of that. I have had a runza, but I don't know if I've ever heard of. So
Very
explain
similar,
that.
basically a bun that is stuffed with a mixture of meat, cabbage, and spices.
And it's good.
Oh yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
So have you made those on your channel?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So let's see. Cooking with Squirrel says they're technically a chicken place, so the Bojangles
Bojangles,
is
yeah.
a chicken place, but I go for the biscuits. Cool. I don't know that I've heard of Bojangles either, so I
That's
haven't
more
been
of a southern thing.
It's a southern thing?
Yes.
So it's not a Phoenix chain then. It's not around.
We have just about every chain you can think of. I'm a little surprised maybe that we don't have a Bojangles tucked away somewhere, but it's really big in the South.
Are there White Castle around Phoenix?
There is a White Castle off of 101 over on the east side.
Interesting. I didn't know that there was one there. Okay. Yeah, he says southern and southeast. Cool. Okay. So, is there one particular dish that is your like go-to? Don't have a lot of time to cook something. We'll just make this up quick and easy.
So you must not have watched a lot of the episodes that I cook in, because no, I never do easy. I don't understand easy. I wish I did. But if there is one, if we have leftover brisket, then brisket stroganoff is absolutely everybody in the family's favorite. And that's why anytime we cook a brisket, it's going to be the biggest freaking one that we can find at Costco, any food warehouse, whatever. It's going to be at least a 20-pounder, because we want the leftovers for the brisket stroganoff. We have that episode. Charlotte cooks it, and she's normally the one that does it here. But if we have ran into crisis before where, Charlotte's late from work, or Greg was going to cook it and he gets caught in traffic. So all four of us have cooked the brisket stroganoff. Definitely.
The thing that really interests me is the pie, the brisket pot pie.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was very good too.
A big hit?
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah, that sounds really, really good. Okay.
And I watched every second of it to make sure no peas went in that thing.
Yes. So Cooking with Squirrel, they are just coming up the East Coast now. I have had 20 minutes. I have one 20 minutes from me, which makes me happy. I learned of them while stationed at Camp Lejeune.
Yep.
Lejeune. Cool. Yeah, it's always nice to see when something that a place that has good food gets more around the country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For the brisket pot pie,
yes,
you can replace the flour in it with cornstarch and use that as a thickener, and just replace the topping with a gluten-free biscuit mix or pie crust.
Nice. I use the cup for cup. I use cup for cup flour blend.
If you're using the gluten-free flours, the mixed flours, like Bob's Old Mill has one. Mm-hmm. It's a cup for cup bit change.
Yeah. There's some really great blends out now. It's much easier for baking.
Can you tell I do a lot of gluten-free cooking? I have a friend who's celiac. I have another friend whose esophagus will explode if your liver give her gluten.
Wow.
So,
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that one. It just sounds too good. I might put peas in it though. Would you still speak to me if I did?
As long as you didn't bring it over. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Okay. Because I love peas. I think that they're so good. So my other question for a lot of people, do you guys cook with grits? Do you have any recipes that use grits?
No, we haven't cooked with a lot of grits, to tell you the truth. Just haven't got to it yet.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too, is that I know that they're out there and they're good. They can be made in some really good recipes. I just haven't really had the opportunity to use them. So I need to find some good recipes for that, because I think that they're pretty cheap and easy to use, aren't they? Yeah. So what is your favorite video on your channel?
The favorite video? I should have had an answer for this already. Probably just the goat Baria, because that day we had about 20 people over, and everybody absolutely raved about it. So it's nothing about the quality of the video or that I was extra witty that day or anything. It's just that, I remember how much the people like that meal. So
cool. That's nice.
The second, I think it was our second episode, the roast beef. That's when we did a sort of flashback documentary thing the director and I did. I thought that was pretty creative. So
Cool.
that might be one.
That's good. Yeah. So what advice would you have for someone learning how to cook?
Don't be afraid. And definitely everything is on YouTube. You can find out how to cook rice if you don't know how to do it. You can learn how to do it on the stove or in an instant pot because they're done different. Yeah, just don't be afraid. Figure out what you like. I like tacos. Okay, go watch 30 minutes of taco videos on YouTube. You'll find something that you can do, and you'll see it done right in front of you, and you'll know that you can do it. So don't be afraid to get out there and try things.
Yeah. And definitely, like you were saying before, compare the prices, like go buy a taco from
Yeah,
a taco meal from somewhere and then come home and see how much you could make a dozen tacos for.
yeah, and how much better you can make it.
Yeah, much better and much more healthy too. So Cooking with Squirrel says gluten-free has come a long way. My mom and little brother are both sensitive. Mom bakes gluten-free cakes that are usually better than non-gluten-free. I agree. Yes, we have developed some really good stuff, and those gluten-free flour blends have really come a long way. And it's really nice. It's expensive, but but it's good. So one thing that I noticed when I was watching your videos, you have such a lovely space to cook. The kitchen is so nice and great for filming. So
Yeah.
that's you guys have good lighting and stuff too. That's really nice. What's your favorite channel that you like to watch?
Oh, there's a ton of them. I definitely love Sam the Cooking Guy. He does the same thing, or maybe I'm trying to do sort of the same thing that he does. Get people out of their comfort zone, get them to try different things, and entertain. I really love Chef Tom, the Sauce channel from All Things Barbecue, ATBBQ. Definitely got a lot of inspiration from that. Rhubarb and Cod does a bunch of amazing videos. Really appreciate those. Cooking with Sylvia or Sylvia's Silly Kitchen. All that bubbly energy that she projects and everything. So there's quite a few of them out there that I like a lot.
I like the ones that kind of talk about the chemistry, what happens when you're putting things together and the chemical reaction that happens. It's really cool.
Mad Scientist Barbecue helped us out there. We're convinced that our brisket recipe is the brisket recipe to end all recipes. And how we came up with it, we took Myron Mixon's recipe, who's the winningest man in barbecue, and he cooks his brisket at 350 degrees. No one else does that. Everybody is all 250 or lower. It's got to take 14 hours. Nope, it takes about 4 hours if you do it his way. Combining that with Mad Scientist Barbecue method, putting those two together just comes out incredible every time.
That is pretty high for cooking a brisket, isn't it?
Yeah. I had it not been in a book that he wrote, I would have never tried it because I would be afraid that I was risking that huge hunk of meat. But he's the winningest man in barbecue. So if he says this is the way you do it, okay, I'll give it a shot. He knows what he's talking about. He does.
Huh. That's interesting. Cool. I learned something new. Well, I've learned a lot of things new, but that's a really good thing to know. So I'm in a couple of the videos I saw you're cooking like on a griddle, right? On a grill. Is that a Blackstone?
It is a Blackstone, yep.
And what's your favorite thing about that?
Definitely great for smash burgers. You have plenty of room. You can get your burgers done and your buns at the same time. Very even heating. So yeah, definitely love the Blackstone. Made a very good Crunchwrap Supreme on that too. So
is that an outside thing?
What's sorry? That? I don't think I made that video though, the Crunchwrap Supreme.
Is it something that you have outside like a barbecue or is it inside?
Yeah, it's outside.
It's outside?
Mm-hmm.
And is that something that you recommend for people that a good
Oh,
tool?
absolutely. If you love breakfast, it is a great way to make your eggs and your bacon all at the same time. Makes incredible fried rice. Like I said, the burgers, the smash burgers, are just absolutely fantastic. You can't make a smash burger on a grill because when you go to smash it, it goes through the grates and you
Yeah.
lose it. It's bad. It's bad. Don't do that. Use a griddle. It works great.
Cool. Okay. Let's see. Cooking with Squirrel says J. Kinji Lopez Alt. I haven't heard heard of that channel, so we'll have to check it out.
I saw
So
a video today with an indoor version of the Blackstone. Absolutely.
that's
Uh,
what I was thinking, that you could have either one. So
Trying to remember which channel I was watching, but I can't remember. But there's definitely an indoor version, electric one.
I just got myself a little electric griddle and cooking pancakes on that. So that
Mm-hmm.
video is coming up soon. And it's nice. It's I haven't cooked on one for so long, and it's nice to have that just open cooking space,
Yes.
and the freedom of not being in a skillet, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, you guys use a lot of cast iron.
We do. We do. We have a lot of Ninja cookware that, if you watched our episodes enough, we have a Ninja addiction problem. We probably, I can't believe they're not our sponsor yet. And we get accused all the time. You're saying this great stuff because they're sponsoring you. No, we love them to because it saves us a lot of money.
So what is your favorite Ninja thing?
Oh, definitely the creamy. That ice cream is just fantastic.
Nice. Cool. I haven't seen one of those in person to
Mm-hmm.
use, but that would be nice to have something like that.
Well, we use ours all the time.
You use it a lot?
Oh, yes.
Is there something else that you want to have that you don't have yet that you're planning to get?
Well, so one of the purposes for the YouTube channel is, of course, everybody who starts a YouTube channel can see themselves as Mr. Beast in about 6 months, So I thought to myself, this is a great way for me to be able to get a gaucho grill and not get killed by my wife. They cost about $5,000. I already have a gas grill. I have the smoker. I have 2 infrared grills. I have a griddle. And then for my fifth wheel, I have a portable smoker. I have a portable griddle. So yeah, I
Sounds
need to
like you have
find
a couple
a
of
way to find
addictions.
my own next one. Yeah.
Cool. Well, it sounds like you're making use of all of them, though.
Yes, I point that out frequently. Thank you very much. I will replay this for her later.
So the only other thing that you don't have for cooking is a blowtorch. Then
Well, no, we have used the blowtorch too. That's a great way to quickly blister your hatch green chilies to get
yeah.
the skin off of them. Yeah, definitely. Saw somebody, I can't remember the channel again, but he was doing fried rice, much the way I do it, but at the end of it, he was passed the blowtorch over the top of it just to get a little bit more crispiness on there. And definitely, it's something I'm going to try next time I do it.
I've seen just like little tiny ones used for creme brulee, to
Mhm.
caramelize the top of that. So yeah. And actually, my friend says that his wife will spread the green chili out on the sidewalk and go over it with the top of a blowtorch.
Yeah, I put it on my grill. I don't start the grill, and then I use the blowtorch out there. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite food that you've found coming to the Southwest?
Oh, definitely. It's always going to be Mexican food. Absolutely love Mexican food.
Yeah.
All of it. It's all fantastic. That last week, that episode, the chili Colorado, which is basically a stew, that's incredible. The Baria Tacos, that's incredible. Yeah, you just can't go wrong with it.
Have you spent much time in New Mexico?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I definitely need to make a pilgrimage to Mecca and Hatch. And
I
go
will
find
send
the Big Pepper.
a list of places to go when you go to New Mexico. It's totally different food. I mean, it's the same, but it's so different, and real sopapillas there, and usually the green chili is like made in a roux. It's not just like here it's more like a stew, you know, and their steak question is red or green. Anything that you order, it's like, would you like it red or green?
Yeah.
And just some really incredible recipes, and it's so interesting to see that it's so different.
You said that about the roux. I was in Prescott a few weeks ago, and a restaurant there had hatch green chili, biscuits, and gravy. And I thought, I
Mm,
got to try that. And it was just like that. You couldn't see a speck of a pepper in there, but you could definitely taste it. So they
yeah.
had made it into a roux, and I need to figure out how to duplicate that. It was out of this world.
So we're not far from Globe, Arizona, and it's between Phoenix and where we live. And there's a little restaurant there called J&R's Cafe. And my husband's been there several times before he had to be gluten free. You go in there and you can order chips with butter on them. Really good. Very, very good. But they
Sounds like a
also
damn
make
good idea.
it's really good. They also make smothered cheeseburgers. So just a cheeseburger smothered with green chili over the top of it, and then the bun on top of that. And you have to eat it with a knife and fork, but it is so amazing. Really, really good. Something totally different than you could get at most any place. Cooking with Squirrel says that Kinji is the most popular spice, most super science
Yep.
of chefs. He's pretty famous. He's an author of The Food Lab. He's basically a scientist chef. I love those kinds of things. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just fascinated with it. 3 different sizes of torches. Blowtorch in stir fry is to recreate. I can't pronounce that.
Maybe.
Wok high?
That would be my guess.
The breath of the wok, which is produced by seared fat droplets. Hard to recreate without a real wok burner. Interesting.
Yeah, but
Very
that's what the person was saying on that episode. If you go and eat it over in Asia, the fried rice, then they're going to have much bigger woks, much bigger fires. They can get to a much higher temperature. So that's why he's using that blowtorch to recreate that. So absolutely what the squirrel's saying.
cool. Very neat. So what do you think 10 years from now when we look back on all of this YouTube craziness that we've been doing, what do you think we're going to like the most, and what do you think we're going to, is there anything that we're going to regret?
I think looking back, having the grandkids and the great grandkids getting a kick out of grandpa or great grandpa or great great grandpa doing this crazy stuff. So that's probably going to be the best part of it.
I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be really fun to go back. I mean, it's like really scary right now for me to go back to my original videos.
Right.
And I'm glad to see that I have improved on my editing. but
well, it's going to be easy too. I mean, right now, if you wanted to go look at videos of yourself 15 years ago, do you know where they are? How do you get to them? I know that we had a camera, but heck, I don't know where those tapes are. And then if I found the tapes, how am I going to get that to play?
Yeah.
So this is something that's going to last quite a while. So
yeah. Let's see. He says it's pronounced Wok-hey. Okay, cool. And Jeff says, did I hear green chili? Yes, you did, Jeff. A lot of green chili. We love green chili. Good stuff. It has more vitamin C than oranges, and it's actually been proven to be an addictive substance. So green chili is good. So if you could cook for anyone, past or present, who would you want to cook for?
Well, I did cook quite often for my parents before they passed away. So I would say probably my grandmother, because I didn't get into the cooking thing before she passed away. And her talent was she could go into the cheapest budget thrift grocery store, spend $20 and feed 50 people. It was absolutely amazing what she could do. She would buy stuff, the absolute cheapest stuff. I would never think of picking up because I wouldn't want to serve that to my family or anybody. And she made it taste incredible. It was absolutely amazing. So I think she would get a kick out of the crazy stuff that I cook with now.
Do you watch Guys Grocery Game,
Yes.
Triple
Yeah,
G? Would
I
she have been a
do.
winner on that one?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's one thing that I love about watching the Food Network is finding all the different ingredients that I never knew existed, like especially like chopped, like durian. Never knew that durian was a thing. So
Mhm.
it's good to learn those kinds of things. What is the service that you think your channel is providing?
Hopefully a little bit of entertainment and a little bit of inspiration. That's what we're looking for.
I think that that's definitely you're providing inspiration and you're definitely educating people. You guys have so many really interesting recipes and all kinds of stuff. You can find so much variation there. So I think it's a really great channel.
Thank you. That's very kind.
Great channel to keep subscribed to. And so what is the number one thing that you would like people to know about your channel?
Now that we're gonna keep doing it.
Good. Good. Okay, and I linked in the description box for this, I linked your Facebook, and I think that I linked your YouTube channel. Are there other places that people can find you?
I am just starting to get around on Reddit right now, so I still don't know what the heck I'm doing. So we'll get that figured out. And the Twitter, all I was doing was copying things that I was posting on Facebook. And when Facebook had 200, 300, 400 people following it, I had 9 people on Twitter, so I stopped with the Twitter stuff. So really, Facebook and YouTube is about it.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to say before we sign off? We're just about out of time here.
I would like to thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really good.
Nice to have you here. We've got one more comment here. Find an Asian grocer and go check it out. That is really
absolutely
show you some stuff never seen or heard of. It's one of my
the
favorite.
intimidating thing though is we have a fantastic, very large Asian grocery store here in Phoenix, and you'll have a Filipino row, and then you'll have the next aisle will be we'll say Chinese, and then the next one is Thai, and they'll sell some of the same things, but the writing on the can is different, and you're sort of shopping by the picture that's on there, and yeah, there is such a huge variety there. It's pretty intimidating. I would want to take someone who's fluent in at least one of those languages with me and go, okay, what's this? What would I use this in? And find that out. But absolutely, Lily's grocery store here in Phoenix, absolutely incredible place.
Yeah, we're a small town. We're pretty limited in our grocery shops here, but it's always nice to be able to order stuff online, or whenever I go to the Valley to go to some of those specialty shops. And
Amazon makes crazy cooking possible.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to seeing more and more, and we'll try to get to see if we can do some gluten-free stuff together too. And
sounds fantastic. I know Charlotte's up for it.
Cool. Very good. All right. Well, you guys have a good evening. Thanks everybody in the chat for joining us, and we really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon. Good night.